Nobody move, there's blood on the floor.
Oh, shit. Cheers, man.
Cheers, brother.
Damn.
I got some splatter over here this time. Last time you splattered on me.
Oh, what'd you think about that beer?
I haven't tried it. Let me try.
Take you a sip. That was actually unexpected.
Oh, yeah, it's got an orange.
That's pretty tasty, man.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
like
good.
that.
Yeah, I like that. This is out of Charleston, right?
Yeah.
Cooper River Brewing Company.
Yes, it is.
It's a blonde ale, 4.6%. Very tasty. Kind of reminds me
I like
of
that, dude.
of a Blue Moon a little bit.
Yeah, a little
Not
bit.
A citrusy Blue Moon.
It's a little more flavor than a Blue Moon, I feel like.
Yeah, Blue Moon is always one of those go-tos for me.
It is for sure.
Dude, I didn't realize you was going to show up with the matching facelift shirt with the matching facelift album. And when I saw that, I was like, well, I had already put Highway to Hell as my album up top. And I was like, I think I got a shirt back there that can match it.
I'm glad I could influence you in that way.
I was like, I got to pull the shirt out now.
I know whenever I walked up with this shirt on, you were like, oh my God, this motherfucker's about to match these albums.
He's all, yeah, that's the first thing I thought. I love that shirt, though.
Man.
It's it just grabs your attention right out of the gate.
Dude, I really like it because it's all over the place. It's not like just like a logo on the shirt. It's everywhere.
It's
know?
the whole shirt.
Yeah. It's the shirt. Yeah.
That's nice.
We opened up with the damn Thundercat, man. I didn't expect that from you. I didn't expect
I've
that.
been getting into Thundercat a little bit. He's hit or miss for me, but he's got
for sure.
dude, he can play bass. He really
Yeah,
reminds
Jesus.
me of Buckethead. I know I've said it before. Of just very experimental musician, but he can kill it on the instrument that he plays.
Right.
And he's got a really nice Tiny Desk with Mac Miller.
Yeah, so that's exactly where I was going to go with that. The song "What's the Use" is like the first song by Mac Miller that really got me into him.
Yeah.
And that bass line in the song is like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But we always recommend an album every week. That's the album I'm recommending this week is "Swimming" by Mac Miller. It's such an artistic album. Like obviously it's a rap album, or I mean maybe it's not obvious. I'm sorry. I say obviously a lot, and I'm sorry for that. But it is a rap album, but it's a very artistic album because it has like bass players like Thundercat, and it has like legit drummers and guitar players. Like it has real musicians that play. It's not just people making stuff on a computer. But actually, the first time me and Gabby went on a date, she played the song "Soulmate" by Mac Miller, and I was like, I don't really care for Mac Miller like this. This isn't like maybe, I guess, 2017. We've been together for 5 years, so
Yeah.
this is in 2017. So I didn't really care for Mac Miller at the time. And she was like, yeah, you need to listen to this. This is some good shit. And I just didn't listen to it. But then once she played "What's the Use," I heard that. I'm like, damn, this bass line is fucking legit.
And it's Thundercat on that bass line.
And it's Thundercat,
He's
dude.
so good, man. Yeah, if you check out that Tiny Desk, well, it's Mac Miller's Tiny Desk, but Thundercat's in there, and he's playing bass in there. It's so impressive how good he is.
Right.
He's next level, man. He really is.
For sure. Man, this beer almost reminds me of a sour a little bit.
It does have a sour aftertaste.
It does, but it's not bad. Like
it's
I
not
kind of
bad.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, swimming. Mac Miller's weird for me, man, because I really got into Mac Miller when Blue Slide Park came out back in the
Yeah.
day. I think that's like 2009 or 10,
for
whatever
sure.
it was.
I think it is 2009.
But and that's before I really started to find myself in music of what I really liked and what I really wanted to listen to. And now when I go back and listen to that stuff, I can't really get back into Blue Slide Park and stuff like that. But I will credit Mac Miller. He's got a lot of talent. And he was always just raw. He was always himself. He didn't seem like he wasn't very technical, like a pop singer, like an Ariana Grande or
Right.
someone like that, who he kind of had a relationship with there for a little bit. But for me, what kind of got me back into Mac Miller was Circles.
Yeah,
His
I
final
remember. I
album.
remember you listening to the album a lot.
And
man.
I have to say, yeah, I was a fan. And it's one of those albums, too, if you know me and you know the music I listen to, it's not that. But the talent really just grabbed me and pulled me in.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess it's kind of like you said in like the 2009 album Blue Side Park. I'm pretty sure that's the year, but he was very young in that album. He was like 16 years
Yeah, he was
old, 15 years
young.
old making that album,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous to be that young and that talented.
Yeah.
But also he's going to rap about stuff that 16 and 15-year-olds rap about,
Yeah.
So naturally, as you're older, you're not going to like that stuff as much. But then towards the end of his life, the two of you are the same age. So, actually, it might have been like a 2013 album now that I think about it.
I think it was about 2009, 2010. I could
Right.
be wrong, but
yeah, because I think he's your age. Well, he was. He's
Yeah.
passed away, but
I feel like, go ahead.
I think like his newer album is going to relate to you more because he's your age when he wrote that album.
Exactly. So for me with music, it's first off, when I hear a song, the first thing that catches me is I have to have people playing instruments. I can't have.
Yes, I agree.
I can't have like electronic shit. I'm not a fan. But the first thing that grabs my attention is the most talented person in the band. And I'm sure I've said this before, but you listen to, Primus, Les Claypool grabs you with his like how well he plays bass.
Or Mastodon with Brian Daylor.
Mastodon with Brian Daylor, or Van Halen is Eddie Van Halen grabs you instantly with how good he is, and and Adele grabs you with her powerful vocals.
Oh my gosh!
But with Mac Miller, he like Circles, it just grabbed me with the songwriting, honestly.
Yes, I like that.
You can tell that he's in a dark place at this time.
He was, for sure.
He's in a bad place. He's feeling what he wrote, and nobody wrote this for him. And if someone did, I stand corrected. But it doesn't seem. I'll be honest. When I listen to Circles, it doesn't show that someone else wrote that for him.
Well, I mean, and I'll even give him credit. Like you go back to his 2016 album, The Divine Feminine. Even some of the songs in that is like very dark, where he's in that place. Like he was in that place before he blew up. I mean, obviously he blew up before that album.
Yeah.
But like Blue Side Park and Listen to the Movies with the Sound Off. I think that's the name of the album. But he was in that dark place well before Circles, and it just got darker and darker, man. Like, and it makes it more sad. It's kind of like the Lane Staley thing, where the last album he ever played was The Unplugged.
Yeah.
And that's the most sad album he put out. And then he died,
That MTV. No, it wasn't MTV.
It was MTV.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of the MTV Nirvana Unplugged, but yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard for me to go back and listen to those, because Blue Slide Park really just talks about how he's made it, and he's shitting on all those people who didn't like him in high school, and I just don't care.
Yeah, like you cared when you were in high school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anytime someone said, "Hey, I listen to Mac Miller," I'm like, "Okay, you're stuck in that high school time."
Right.
But you listen to Swimming, and like 2009, really, from that album Swimming, really kind of.
It's so sad.
It's a really sad song.
Yeah, listen to that Tiny Desk whenever he performs 2009.
Yes.
That shit gets me every time.
And if you've never listened, or you don't know what Tiny Desk is, search it on YouTube. You can probably find your favorite musician there. Tiny Desk is really fun to watch. Very intimate setting, and we put it on all the time downstairs.
Yeah, for sure.
When we're drinking, we're hanging out,
drinking, having a good time.
Yeah, we'll throw it on there and put whoever on there.
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorites is the Brittany Howard one.
Oh, that was good.
Oh man,
yeah, we watched it not too long. We watched that one not too long ago. Oh, one of my favorites is I've recommended him last week was St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Yeah, true.
It's incredible. You watch that and you think to yourself, this is unfair that someone can actually sing like
ridiculous,
this.
Man.
It's ridiculous.
That's how I think when you're on the rock band, man.
Shit. Shit.
Yeah, the St. Paul and the Broken Bones might have been missed by some people that are listening because it was at the end of the episode. It was
at the end.
But he did recommend that album, and that album is so freaking good.
Half the City by St. Paul and the Broken Bones was last week was what I recommended, and phenomenal album. They're from Alabama, or at least St. Paul,
right.
The lead singer is from Alabama, and there's something that is strange, and I didn't really plan on bringing this up, but
I'm listening.
It's that there's two types of people that have soul. That's heavy set people, and that's black people. I feel like you never see a skinny white guy have like legit soul. And if you know of something, if you're listening as an audience, please show me. I really want to see it. Because black people nobody can outsoul black people. Let's be honest.
I'm not disagreeing with you. That's spot on.
And the white guys like, St. Paul or Marcus King.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's a really interesting take. And my first thought was like Robert Plant, but it's not as solely as it is.
It's more like rock
and roll. Yeah. That's very interesting. I like that take.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you also only see it from like Virginia down to like
the Southern soul,
Mississippi.
That Southern soul.
Like you don't get soul. If you do get soul, please show me in the comment section because I want to see it. You don't get it from like Connecticut. or Boston. You don't get that kind of soul that you.
But it's so much different growing up in those areas too. I'm sure that like that's so crazy. That's such a like accurate correlation.
Yeah. I've thought about that. I thought about that last week when I recommended them. I was like, and what really connected it me is that St. Paul and the Broken Bones and Alabama Shakes, the two albums I've recommended the past few weeks, have they're both from Alabama.
Well, you know what's even crazier is that whenever I first saw the Tiny Desk with St. Paul and the Broken Bones, I thought that he also looked like Josh Peck. And so does Brittany Howard.
Nice.
That's such a strange time thinking about like the Drake and Josh era, man, of TV.
I know. I can see that. And Drake and Josh was always a classic, man. What are some of those other, like, was it Nickelodeon?
Or it was Nickelodeon. Okay. Yeah.
I miss like all that. I don't know if you, this is kind of this is before your time because you're 99, right?
Yeah.
And I'm from 92. And I kind of want to kick into some 90s nostalgia.
I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah, you don't count anything after like 95 or 96. That shit don't count, man. Let's be honest, that shit don't count.
Yeah, I got more knowledge than 80s people on that stuff.
But there's so much nostalgia in the 90s, man, for me. And I turned 30 the other day.
Oh, God, you old fuck.
You old fuck. And it felt weird. Anytime I hear it hit a 10-year mark, like 20s, it hit me.
That's a very strange one.
It's weird because, I mean, you spent the last 9 years in your teens or the last 9 years in your 20s.
Yeah.
Leading up, I was like, man, this is really, like, everything was my last moment in my 20s. If I went to take a piss, this is my last, I'm just sobbing, this is my last piss in my 20s. This is my last beer in my 20s. This is my last ribeye steak in my 20s.
Think you had some ribeye steaks?
Well, it was New York strips, but it was my last.
Oh, damn. You just lying to them now. How'd you cook them?
But,
Did you cook them good?
Medium rare. It was a little more done than I like.
Oh,
but,
that's okay, though.
But,
Got the crust. Got the krill.
They didn't have too much krill. He had too much krill.
Dang,
but
not the krill.
and that really brought me back to kind of, why does aging or another year, it's just a number, why does that bother some people? And why does, for me, it doesn't bother me year to year. It bothers me like by the 10 years.
The decades.
The decades.
The decade.
Yes. So.
What's the deal with time, guys? Like, why is time real?
Right? Yeah. So I'm sitting there, I'm just like, man. And it really made me think of 90s nostalgia because I kind of started to miss the 90s a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you know, Pokemon and grunge music and
the grunge music. Hey, speaking of Facelift, man.
Yeah,
so
man,
fucking
such a good album.
That's a top 10 favorite for me, man, easily.
Yeah,
and we always do the countdown list. That's a top 5 favorite album for me all time.
Top 5. Hit me with your top 5 favorite albums.
Oh man. So 2 of them have already been featured on the podcast. If you guys go back, but
well, you had
Led Zeppelin 2 was one of them.
Which
actually that might have been on your side.
That was on yours. I had Cochise.
Okay, so Led Zeppelin 2 is one. I would say that's probably my favorite album all time is Led Zeppelin 2. And then Emotionalism by
the Everett Brothers.
Yeah, by the Everett Brothers. Yeah. Number 3 is hard. I want to say Attack and Release, but Let's Rock is slowly catching up.
Damn.
Like,
you
Let's
love it
Rock.
That much?
Yes, Let's Rock
by the Black Keys?
is slowly taking its place.
Yeah.
Then number 4 is going to be Facelift.
Damn. Facelift's that high?
And then number 5 is Stadium Arcadium by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, damn. I did not. Really?
Yes.
You've changed it. You've changed it a lot lately. For me, with Alice in Chains, I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan. I would have put Dirt is number 1 for me, and then Jar of Flies is number 2.
Jar of Flies, man.
And then probably Facelift. And then probably The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here.
Oh, man, you going to shit on their self-titled like that.
I love, like, for me, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here.
I can't do Lane Staley
like that. I get it, but I'm just a fan, man.
That's fair.
I think
That's fair. I love the album.
Their most underrated album is The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here.
That's pretty accurate.
Because people, it's not Lane Staley, and people shit on it.
Yes, people shit on William Duvall, but William Duvall's voice is so good, man.
It's very good.
I know this isn't like the 90s, but last week we were talking about like Vincent Price, and I was saying how Gabby doesn't want me to name our son Vincent.
That's a good name.
And so I was talking to Robert on Wednesday, I think, and even he was like, you know what? It's kind of crazy because it's kind of crazy because I really like the name Vincent. And Gabby's like, oh God, everybody's always on his side, you know, like she can't catch a break, man. Yeah. We always ragging on her, man. And he goes, well, actually, my grandpa's name is Vincent, which is it's actually short for Vincenzo. I was like,
Vincenzo?
It's an Italian like traditional name.
Really?
And I'm like, damn, that's a badass name. I ain't gonna lie,
Vincenzo?
that's a badass. Yeah,
that's kind of
nice.
That's
a badass name, right?
My kid Vincenzo.
Right? But like, I hate it because like every time I'm always making a point to like be that asshole that's like, oh, do you like the name Vincent? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, hey, you see that? Even though she doesn't like it, you know, I'm just a dick.
You just keep bringing
Such
it
a
up.
dick.
You're
planting the seed.
I'm
planting
the seed. Yeah, 90s nostalgia.
Oh, that's where I was going with that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
The 90s. So he was talking about the Vincent Price movies.
Right.
And like, dude, like House on Haunted Hill and like House of Wax, like those original movies are so fucking good, man.
Yeah. Vincent Price
so good.
Is top. His Mount Rushmore of
of horror film.
Yeah.
And what makes me think of that is like we talked about Stranger Things last week. It's like how Vecna getting into his character, all the layers of makeup and like putting on all of like the costume, like that's like some Vincent Price shit, man.
You know, a lot of people are screaming mad about how Max's character's not nominated for an Emmy, and listen, man, I'm gonna be honest, she didn't deserve it.
No, she didn't.
I mean, it's good writing.
If anyone deserved it, it was Jamie Campbell Bowers.
Yes.
When he was playing number one.
Right. When I saw him, the first thing I thought was that would be and I even asked you.
Clockwork Orange, man.
Yeah, a Clockwork Orange. If you was gonna do, and I don't want to see a remake, which kind of brings me back to nostalgia. The reason that remakes are happening so much is because our generation right now is still kind of living in the past a little bit, because that's where there's so many remakes and so much of that they want to give you a taste of nostalgia. Nothing's original.
Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake on Netflix. Have you watched that yet?
Fucking one. There's like 20 remakes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
They made a show though on Netflix like this year.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that
yet, but I've heard it wasn't that good.
Really?
But it's just like, and I guess like millennials, like I guess that's definitely the perfect way to describe your era. But excuse me. The millennial era is very like, those are the ones that are the audience reviews on TVs or TV shows and movies.
Yeah. And
so that's why they're trying to kind of cater to that audience.
Right, because the decade before them, they're not commenting on shit. They're not internet active, and
internet tech savvy.
They're not tech savvy. But so we're demanding the remakes. People keep people keep wondering why people keep remaking shit. It's because there's a demand for it.
For sure.
So I don't want to see a Clockwork Orange remake, but if there was, he would be the perfect actor to play that role.
So good, man.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
It'd be so good.
It was just those eyes it just seemed very like dark and demented eyes that he has.
I don't know if we talked about this in the podcast yet, but the Joker.
With Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes. So they were talking about, obviously they're in talks of a Joker 2.
Yeah.
And one of the main storylines is that it's going to be a musical. And so everybody was like so bummed out about it. But then something came out yesterday that whenever they refer to it as a musical, the musical they're talking about is the rape scene as Singing in the Rain from Clockwork Orange. That's how the movie's going to be.
Oh,
it's like shit like that. So
that was a very dark scene.
It's going to be a very fucking dark movie if that's the case.
Yeah.
The first one was very fucking dark.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, that's what got it so big, is it was very raw.
It was so raw.
Yeah,
for
very
sure.
raw for its time. And shout out to Will Ritchie, who showed me, and I don't know if I got on this last night, showed me a lot of cool ass fucking movies. That's another one he showed me.
Some cool ass fucking movies. I hope not.
Take that for how you will.
You will.
For how you will.
God, that's so stupid.
But
so dumb.
Yeah, that was another one that he showed me. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I didn't realize that I was watching. The Clockwork Orange is such a disturbing movie, man.
Oh, dude, Stanley Kubrick is such a just phenomenal director.
Yeah, he's good.
I need to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's one I still haven't watched by him.
That's one that supposedly, I mean, you go back and look
so
at
ahead of his time.
It's so ahead of his time, man.
I've seen like the clips of like how beautiful the film work is.
And it's like from the 60s.
Yeah, 69.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Crazy, dude. I mean, they remastered, so as long as you're not, I mean, some of the, it doesn't matter. It's ahead of its time. It's insane.
For sure. And then, like, but I remember like watching The Shining for the first time.
Yeah.
By Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
One of the scenes that stuck with me the most is whenever he's down by the bar, and obviously he's been losing it throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall.
It's a very old movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I hate to spoil it, but I'm going to anyways.
I remember 30 years, 40 years.
It's a spoiler alert for the 30/40-year-old movie. Well, it might be older than that. It's 2022, dude.
Yeah, and the book.
It might be 50 years old at this point.
Yeah.
It's a 70s movie, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But the scene where he goes back up to the hotel and he goes into the wrong hotel room and the old ass lady's in the bathtub.
Oh God, yeah.
I will never forget that.
Yeah.
Like that is like scarred to me. I was like 11 years old watching this.
You know what reminds me of that one moment of him walking on that girl?
I really want to know.
Is in Pet Sematary when they open the door and the woman is like, you know what I'm talking about, where she's like starving to death. She has, I forget what illness it is or whatever it is.
Oh my God,
dude, that is some creepy ass shit,
man. If you haven't watched Stephen King films, anytime I think of Stephen King, I immediately think of a child death.
Yeah,
every Stephen King film, and like this is something that Mom like kind of put into my head.
She planted that,
but like that correlation between like if I watch Stephen King, I expect a child to die in the movie.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I went back and watched Pet Sematary, the original. That shit's fucked up, dude.
It's a good movie.
It still holds up.
It still holds up.
It still holds up.
Like Stephen King is such an underrated director too, because nobody ever considers him.
Yeah,
when talking about like everybody's gonna say like, you know, Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino, like we have in the last few weeks.
Yeah,
I never think about Stephen King. I guess I'll refer to myself as people that don't think about him.
Yeah, and the reason is for that is because, like I said last episodes, the Oscars never give any awards for.
That's very true.
Sci-fi. Well, I guess some sci-fi movies have one, but never horror or never comedy, which is fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, they're movies too. But you're gonna give animation one, which deserve. They did. No, I'm not saying that animation. I want to be very clear here.
It's just so crazy that that's over horror and comedy.
I want to be very clear. Animation takes a lot of work. I love animate. I don't really. I mean, I like some of the Pixar movies and some of the like Toy Story shit. And,
I get the hype over. I get the talent and dedication that puts into learning how to make something like that.
Yes, which kind of leads me into what I really wanted to tell you about, and I told you earlier in the week. And you told me
that's right. Yeah,
was Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay,
which was recommended to me from my buddy Danny. Shout out to Danny. Dude, it is such an original series. It is animated. The whole thing is animated. There's like a couple moments where it's not animated, but in each episode, they're only like 10 to 20 minute episodes. So you get like this little short story wrapped up like super fast.
Right.
And you want to know what the next story is. And it could be a whole other animation, a whole other character set, a whole other meaning, a whole other. It's like Black Mirror, but animated. I don't know if for the people who have seen Black Mirror.
It's like a Robot Chicken, but serious.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very good. And season 1, if you start from season 1, for some reason, my dumbass started it from season 3 and worked my way down.
I'll agree.
I don't know how that happened, but it did. Really enjoyed it. But the closer I got to season 1, like season 1 didn't do it for me. As much as season 2 and 3 did. Right. But it's nominated for 11 Emmys. It's incredible, dude. Wow. Phenomenal show.
That's kind of crazy.
Highly recommend Love, Death, and Robots. Really, really good.
Right.
Especially if you like anime. I mean, I even for people who don't like anime, which is me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Me too,
I don't watch anything that's anime. I mean, I watched like Dragon Ball Z when I was like 9.
But you didn't. Yeah, it wasn't like over. And that's my problem with anime. It's so over like sexualized.
It's over sexualized and it's so dramatic.
Yeah, it's not
the crying, spewing out the eyeballs.
Crystalia.
And like
Crystalia, man.
Like why does every woman have like the shortest skirt and like
I know it's over sexualized.
It's
just too much.
It's too much.
But like Dragon Ball Z was never like that, I guess. So that's why it never.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And even if it was, you were a kid, you didn't notice.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there's some anime people screaming at us saying there's plenty of shows that don't do that.
Well, guess what? We're stereotyping because we're assholes.
Yeah. And I will say this, and I kind of want to connect another thing to black people, like I did with soulful music, and that's a lot of people have recommended One Punch Man to me. That seems to be the one that everyone tries to get me into. I haven't watched it, but isn't it weird how you could have like nerdy white people in one hand who love anime, and black people on the other hand, two completely different cultures. And I guess you could throw like, I'm just talking about in America.
Right.
And for me, and you can kind of connect this again with WWE. So like WWE, nerdy white people and like black people. And for me, it goes back to, it seems like to me that the older generation of black culture really likes boxing and kung fu.
Right.
And they kind of push that down onto the next generation.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of what connects anime, because there's a lot of like fighting in anime. There's a lot of
like kung fu
like, in anime. Yeah.
Sure.
And that's the connection as far as black people. And that's the connection with WWE with black people.
Well, that'll even bring me back to the damn Tiny Desk. In Thundercat's Tiny Desk, he's wearing Muay Thai shorts.
Exactly.
He's a huge anime fan.
There is a fucking connection.
I definitely agree with that. It's so funny that me and Gabby were like looking through Netflix the other day, and we saw Love, Death, and Robots, and we saw it. Was like, yeah, I don't think she would like that, so let's watch something else. And we came across this show called Building a Sex Room.
Oh man! Every time
and we're like, this seems weird, but I kind of want to watch it.
Me too.
so we watched the first episode, and it's so fucking weird that like these people, like two couples, whatever, like sexual orientation, they want to build a sex room, but like it's so strange to me that they want to let everybody know on Netflix that they're building a fucking sex room.
And
it's so
there's
strange
a reason why, because so many people can relate to that.
But it's so strange, man.
When I saw it, I was like, I felt a little uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly.
And I wanted to click on it.
Oh, we did. We felt uncomfortable when we clicked on it.
I didn't click on it, so
I kind of like.
Good for you.
I fell asleep like maybe like 10 minutes left for like 2 minutes, and I woke back up and I was like, I don't really want to watch this. But at the end of the episode, I wanted to watch another one. Like it caught me, like it pulled me back in.
Those shows that pull you back in are really good,
strange,
and you're gonna
man.
love. And for you, and for non-anime people who don't like anime, I suggest watching Love, Death, and Robots from season 3 back, because that's how it grasped me. I don't know if I would have watched season 1, I don't know if it would have, because season 1 is a little too anime for me. But from season 3 and season 2 was phenomenal, dude.
Right.
Fucking phenomenal.
That's cool. I'll have to watch that, man.
Like 10 out of 10 original. You see all these Vampire Diaries and fucking Outer Banks, which you like.
Quit hating, man. You hating.
Fucking bullshit, man. I'm not a fan of that shit. I just can't listen. I just can't watch it.
Have you ever watched any episodes of Outer Banks?
I've watched enough to know when.
You've watched some? You watched the first episode.
Okay. I've never watched Outer Banks.
Oh my god.
But
you hating, man.
I've watched enough teeny bopper shows to know when I can spot one. I can spot one.
Just like Argyle from Stranger Things said, try before you deny. The pineapple pizza, man. It's just like that.
Nice.
You got to try it before you deny it, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that's one that's there's plenty of shows out there.
It's so much Goonies reference. It's so much like it's like the 90s nostalgia.
It's going to have to be the Goonies
like
for me to watch it, man.
You got to watch it, man.
I'm not trying to like judge it. I'm not trying to judge it.
You're judging it right now.
But I can't do the
teeny bopper.
The female wearing like anime but not animated, to where it's like the Chad is the Chad and the female is
But that's not the show at all.
Well, that's what they advertise.
You know what? Shout out to the Crab Man. He is a fan of Outer Banks.
Really?
Yes.
Shout out to Paris, who made him a fan of Outer Banks.
You know what? If it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be watching a fucking phenomenal show. Because it's a very good show.
Good for you guys, man. I'm glad that you're happy. Because I just
Such a hater,
there's
man.
so many movies and so many
Such a
shows that
hater.
demand my attention, and that's not one of them.
I mean, I understand like the stereotype of that kind of show, but it's not that kind of show is what I'm saying.
Okay.
In some moments it is.
Is it reality TV?
No.
Okay.
No. It's not reality TV at all.
I wasn't sure. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was, but it kind of looked like it could be.
Right.
You know.
I mean, it really does remind me like the Goonies and like that like teenage like search for treasure.
Okay.
That's what it really reminds me of, man. And it's such a good show, man. It pulls you in.
Now I have to
'Cause,
ask you, be honest. And it doesn't matter. We're all honest here. We're in the honest room.
I know what you're gonna ask me. Hold on, let me guess. Did Gabby get you to watch this?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Gabby tried to get me to watch it, and I was like, "This looks like a teeny bopper show."
It does.
And then Noah was like, "My buddy Noah, shout out to Noah, our buddy Noah.
yes,
He's like, you know what? You gotta watch this show, dude. I'm telling you." I was like, it was like a teeny bopper show. I don't want to watch it. And he goes, "You gotta watch the show. It's not like that. It's like the Goonies." I was like, "Okay, let me watch it." I'll watch the first episode and see what happens.
yeah.
And after the first episode, I'm fucking hooked.
Okay, good for you, man.
Oh my
happy
god!
for
You gotta look, man. You gotta try to aim down on him over there.
Down and on. Yeah, I'm happy for you, man.
Just watch one episode. If you don't like it,
That's fair.
A wasted hour.
Okay, that's fair.
1 hour of your life ain't gonna hoit you.
But the good thing about Love, Death, and Robots is, for us, we sit down for a meal. I don't want to dedicate an hour. To me, a movie is a commitment. Like an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's a full-on commitment for me. So when I get home at 7 or 8 o'clock, I want to see something that, like when we sit down at the dinner table. Love, Death, and Robots is going to have 10 minutes to 20 minutes. If
That's
you don't,
true.
you know,
That's true.
it's very. You don't have to commit much time.
Well, that's why I like watching YouTube so much.
Exactly, and that's
It's
why
so easy to watch
TikTok
it.
is so
Yeah,
big.
that's
It's because
true.
everybody has
That's true.
short ass fucking time.
Short ass fucking attention spans.
Attention spans. Thank you. So that's what's really cool about each one. Some of the animations they look so freaking real, man.
I gotta stop you. I've been trying to think about what this beer reminds me of,
What is it?
and so it was like maybe a year ago. I was drinking a Miller Lite. So you remember Meemaw stew?
Yes.
So mom would cook Meemaw stew all the time at the house, and one time I was like a year ago. I was drinking a Miller Lite and eating Meemaw stew, and that's what this beer tastes like.
Really?
It's like drinking. Like,
Really?
It's so strange that like that aftertaste.
It's actually a really good beer, man.
It's a good beer, dude.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. And this is, we said it earlier in the podcast, it's Charleston Brewing Company, Cooper River. It's a blonde ale with a kind of a citrusy taste.
Yeah, but it's got that like sour aftertaste.
It does.
And that's what it reminds me of like if I took a bite of Meemaw stew and then I took a sip of Miller Lite, and it just like
That's a weird connection.
and that's like the blend, man. And I don't want to like correlate Meemaw stew and Miller Lite because that is disrespectful.
It is.
But that's what this beer tastes like. That's what reminds me of that taste of putting those two together.
But it's really just,
It's so strange.
you having a good time of having that beverage and drinking or eating.
It
meatball
is, for
stew.
sure, for
Stew is-
sure.
You're connecting it to a good time, and that's
But
all that
dude,
matters.
it's so crazy. Like that taste is like it's so like prominent in my mouth.
Yeah. I talked about it earlier. We met out and had some drinks, and I kind of want to talk about dealing with past trauma
Okay.
on this episode.
Yeah.
And I think that people deal with trauma in different ways. Nice.
Oh, the splatter.
I still got some over here. I need to wipe it off. But especially like those guys from the 80s and the 70s, they deal with trauma by like those masculine men who push that shit down.
Yeah.
They've had some shitty stuff happen to them. They're tough guys. We all know they're tough guys. They push that shit down, man.
Big tough guys.
Yeah, and I'm not here to mock that.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
I mean, I will, but
I will because I'm an
will.
asshole. Oh my gosh.
But it just that's not healthy. And there's the other
that's
side
true.
of dealing with trauma. People deal with trauma in so many different ways, and I didn't realize what that was until I started like growing through life and realizing my past traumas kind of define you if you let it.
Absolutely.
So you start, you're in a social setting and something just clicks to where you think back of that moment that really fucked you up.
Right.
And you base your decision off of that moment. And that kind of defines you. So you're having these moments here and there, and you're making decisions off of your past trauma in these moments, and that can kind of define you as a person.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And I had a really close friend of mine shoot himself, Dylan, and it's kind of hard to talk about sometimes, and that's like one moment.
Great guy,
yeah,
amazing
for sure.
Guy.
That's kind of like one moment that could
sure.
define me, but
Yes.
it kind of makes you think about something I wanted to talk about on the podcast a lot. Is like I like try to live in the moment so much, and like some of these memories like just kind of fade away by living in the moment so much.
Okay.
Like I'll talk about like concerts and stuff. Like I want to be in the moment, so present in the moment that like when I look back on some of these concerts, I can barely remember them.
Because you don't want to pull that phone out and be taking a picture.
Yes.
You want to live and experience that show or whatever it is.
Right.
And you don't want to miss that moment, that genuine moment, by having your camera out, taking a picture, trying to tell everybody about it in social media, whatever.
Because that I don't care about everybody else in this moment. I don't want the attention. I don't give a shit about the attention of like people being like, oh, he went to see Megadeth,
so and so, whatever.
Like, it doesn't matter. But but it's also like looking back on some of those memories where like you push that past trauma down. Like I don't really let that moment define me because that memory is slowly slipping away. Which like I still have it in the back of my mind where it's like that was a shitty. That's like sucks.
Yeah.
But also I guess it lets me live life in like a more positive way where I'm like I meet people that I really love and I'm like I want to show these people off to the world.
For sure. And I don't want to just talk about those guys from the 80s and the 70s who pushed that down.
Right.
Because there's a new age of people who. And please tell me, I don't mean to be hateful or anything like that. I have pure love for everyone. And if you have a different perspective in this, please let me know. I'll be happy to have, people on to talk about this. I just want to see people happy. But there's also another form of trauma that people deal with where they have trauma in their past and they may try to run from it.
Right.
To say like maybe change their hair color, change their maybe pronouns or change their gender or change whatever it is. And I don't know what the answer is to dealing with past trauma, but I think that there are people who do that, who try to run from their past trauma. And then there's people who also try to push it down.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure. I know that pushing it down is not healthy.
Right.
I can't tell you because I've never tried to run from it or tried to change who I am because of my past traumas.
Right.
I've never tried to. Yeah, so I can't really speak on that side of it. But I feel like there are people out there who are suffering. Maybe they have a really strict family around them who, hates them because, they like a certain gender or they feel a certain way. They feel masculine, they feel feminine, whatever it is. And those that like construct of your parents being strict on you or those people who are around you being strict on you can really dictate who you are,
right,
and change who you are. And it's if you're running from it, don't run from it.
Oh,
be who the fuck you want to be.
And it's so easy to say that for us because
we
grew up, and I will 100% say this, that we grew up very lucky to have parents that were very accepting.
Yes, they were the most accepting.
And I will say obviously we're not normal, but we were pretty normal kids.
Yeah.
And so and I will say it again, we are not normal. We are weird fucking people.
For sure, 100%.
But we were pretty relatively what society considers normal,
Yeah.
Like straight white guys.
Yeah.
And growing up in a very, in the South it's a very Christian town, so that's what's very normal.
Yeah.
And we grew up in that, so our parents were very accepting, but we weren't like offbeat. For a lack of a better term, we didn't have to grow up with those struggles of like, I have these thoughts in my head,
but I can't express it.
Yes, but I can't express it
because I know if I do, people are going to look. My people that I love and that love me are going to look down on me.
Right.
So you got to kind of hide from that, and that's not fair to any human being.
For sure.
You shouldn't have to hide who you are from anyone.
Absolutely. One thing I will follow up with that is I forgot where I was going with that.
But yeah, it's just something that I've noticed lately of people who, like I said, there's the older generation who's tough, who pushes it down, and I really want to push for those guys and those women who are from that generation to just talk about it, man. It's okay. Right. It's okay.
I remember what I was going to say.
We struggle.
In I think it was the last episode, we were talking a lot about metal music.
Yeah.
And the Crab Man commented, and he was asking, like, what makes you like, obviously we like metal music, and what makes you like kind of like, do you empathize with that music? And I guess really what it is like, I see, like, I understand that I'm very lucky to grow up the way I did, with very accepting parents and people that like loved me, but also like I see what it would be like to not grow up that way.
Exactly.
And that's why I respect these people so much that can express themselves, because it's so hard to express yourself. I mean, even if you do grow up with like a very comfortable environment, it's hard to express yourself.
Because we grew up in a loving home, and life is already hard enough for us. Absolutely. I couldn't imagine how life would be if the people that were around me that I loved and that loved me couldn't accept me for who I am.
Right.
And that goes for, like I said, that goes for all generations and all people. The people who push it down, man, listen, talk to people about it. It's not healthy. I try to push my past traumas down for a long time. It's not fucking healthy, man. It's not. And I'm not sure that, and I don't know because I've never tried this, but I'm not sure that like running from it is either.
It's definitely, running from it, I feel like, is definitely the farthest thing from healthy. I feel like, and that's kind of something I did whenever Dylan passed away, was like I tried to like just push it down and, like not think about it and stuff. But like you were saying in like the last, maybe episode 2, being with a woman that's very accepting and can listen to you,
It goes a long way. Yes. Or being with any spouse, not just a woman, but any spouse.
For sure.
Being with a partner that can help you.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
A supporting partner that you love and that loves you back, who gives you the room to grow as a human being is absolutely so nice, man.
Yeah, and I will say Gabby is definitely a person that does that for me.
For sure. Yeah, I feel that way. And when the health, deep down in your soul, anybody listening, you all know if the person you're with is unhealthy for you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can deny all you want and come up with reasons. That's what tends to happen when you're in a relationship that's not healthy. You want to make every excuse. Your dad or your mom might say, "Hey," they might give you reasons, and the people around you might give you reasons of why this person isn't healthy for you.
Right.
And you're going to make every excuse for them because you love that person.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to say that the reason we laughed is because I started tickling his feet.
Footsie.
Playing footsies with him under the table.
Weirdo.
But it's just like working out. We talk about working out every now and then, and every now and then you're gonna have those days where you don't want to go to practice, and there's
100%.
always gonna be that thing in the back of your mind. It's like, you know what, I've got this to do. If I don't go to practice, I can do this. But really, you just want to skip practice.
That's really what it is.
You don't want to train. You don't want to stretch. You don't want to do whatever it is. You want to sit at home and be lazy.
Yes.
And then most of the time, you won't even do the things, like the excuses you make. You won't even follow up on those excuses half the time.
For sure. Exactly. 100%. And yeah, I want to challenge. I mean, I've always challenged people to be themselves, but I think you're right. Yeah, you start making excuses for yourselves, and you won't even follow up on those excuses.
Right.
And
like David Goggins said,
who's going to carry the boats?
No, like he said, David Goggins, if you don't know who David Goggins is, I highly recommend looking up who David Goggins is. If you have any like problems with motivation or like discipline, his biggest thing is that fuck motivation. Motivation is something that will only last until you're not motivated.
Exactly.
But like if you have discipline, then you're going to be disciplined the whole time. It doesn't matter when it is.
Yeah.
So if you're going to work out, be disciplined. Don't be motivated.
100%. 100%.
I have to take a piss.
Me too. Can we pause it?
We could.
We'll be back.
We'll be back, guys. Oh, man, we're back. So while I was pissing, I got a notification on my phone. UFC 280 is confirmed. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Haven't seen
confirmed,
this.
man. It just came out like 10 minutes ago.
Damn, man.
That's going to be a good fucking fight.
I feel like it's just a little quick for Islam.
Oh, it definitely is, but who else is going to fight Oliveira?
It's the
I
right.
mean, nobody wants to see a repeat.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
get
That's
it.
the one.
I'm gonna be honest though.
Oh, yeah, I think Islam's going to get murdered.
I think Islam. I don't think he's gonna get murdered. I think he's gonna get
I think it's going to be bad.
He's gonna get submitted.
I mean, you want to see Justin Gaethje versus Islam? I think Islam gets knocked out.
Yeah. If he goes toe to toe with him, he will.
Yeah, Oliveira took out Gaethje in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that doesn't correlate directly, but
yeah.
I think Oliveira is going to demolish Makhachev.
Watching that Gilbert Burns versus Islam Makhachev was an incredible fight. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I'm
not-
thinking
it's not
of
Hamzat. It's
Hamzat
not Hamzat.
Chimaev. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's the right matchup to have, but I think he's going to get submitted for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be
Because
good
Oliveira is
for him.
probably the greatest submission artist that the UFC has ever seen.
I mean, he's got the most in UFC history.
yeah.
So that's a good.
That's a good start.
That's a good start for that number for that saying.
Dude, wow. Yeah. And after the Justin Gaethje and Oliveira fight, you kind of knew that was the most legitimate matchup to make.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
Anytime I think of UFC fights, I think about the night we went down to Charleston Sports Pub, and we literally just sat there and drank and drank.
That was Ngannou
And
Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
That was
Brandon Moreno versus
Figueroa.
Figueroa.
Yeah.
That was. We got so drunk that night.
Dude, the
man.
only thing I remember from that is seeing Big Bone Bartholomew, shout out, who has lost like 70 pounds.
Yeah, shout out to
In the
Big Bone
past few
Bartholomew.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man, for losing all that weight, taking some initiative himself for self health. You know, that's good.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
Good. That's awesome, man. Good for him. I've lost 20 pounds in the past 3 months myself.
Fucking crazy, man.
I've been. I'm up to 191 now.
I couldn't tell.
I'm on my vacation, and
I
I'm.
couldn't tell you lost any. I'm a hater.
Yeah, but good for you, man. I'm pulling for you.
Yes,
I'm happy
for
for
real.
you.
That's
Seriously,
awesome, dude.
seriously,
70
that's
I mean,
that's
20
incredible.
pounds is a lot.
It's
70
incredible.
pounds is so fucking much, man.
I guarantee you, he can feel an amazing difference.
Yeah,
because
so
I can
shout
feel.
out, man. Shout out to Big
I feel like
Boner.
I'm in the best shape of my life, and I guarantee you, he feels like he's in the
Yeah,
best shape
right?
of his life way more than I do.
That's awesome, man.
So shout out to Big Bone Bartholomew. Good for you, man. We're pulling for you. Keep it going, man.
You got to keep it going, but keep it going. Don't
stop.
stop.
Shout out to the Beastie Boys too.
But dude, that night at Charleston Sports Pub, that's probably the drunkest I've been in the last
In a
2 or
while?
3 years.
Oh,
I mean, we were Ubering back, and we were in your neighborhood.
we were there for a reason. We knew what was going to happen.
No. We Uber most of the time. Like anytime we drink, we're gonna Uber.
We're very safe drinkers.
But this night, we weren't gonna walk anywhere. Like we went to Stanley Steamers.
Sully Steamers.
Yeah, we went to Sully's, and
Stanley's. We wanted to clean the carpets.
yeah, we went to Stanley's, and no, we went to Sully Steamers, and man, I don't even remember. Like, I just remember the taste of like one,
The Griswold.
the Griswold. I remember one Griswold had a bite, and then I look over, and these people are fighting in the damn Sully's. I remember peeing in the Sully's, and I remember seeing the people fight, and then I remember in the Uber about to throw up. And I'm like,
Oh God,
dude, we have to pull over. Like, I can't. I'm not holding this in. And so we stop, and I throw up, or whatever. And then I look over, and Sean's throwing up at the same time.
it's funny how this brain works, man. The hive mind. It's like I didn't feel any type of like carousel, spinning, nauseous. Yeah. We pulled into my
like subdivision.
Subdivision, yeah. And I just hear grumbles.
I was doing that for the last 20 minutes.
I'm just trying to block it out up front. I'm sitting up there with the Uber driver, and Heather's in the back going, "You all right?"
No, I wasn't.
What the fuck was that?
It sounded like a gunshot go off.
Yeah,
or fireworks maybe. There's some loud ass fireworks.
That was really close.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and I just hear the groans and the. It's like a zombie back there. What the fuck's going on back there? And I just, you have to stop. Pull over.
So goes, can you stop? Can you pull over? He's gotta throw up.
And it hit me. I was like,
I guess I could do.
I guess I am fucked up,
dude.
But so that. Go ahead.
Sorry, you're going the exact same place I am. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So that really brings me to the movie The World's End.
That's where I was going.
Which isn't a good movie. I'm going to be very clear here. It's not a good movie.
It's not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie.
We talked about Shaun of the Dead and dark comedies. This is one of those with the same actors.
Yes. Same actors of Shaun of the Dead, Nick Frost and
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, yeah.
Yeah.
They do the Golden Mile, which is a mile long of 12 breweries or bars, and they have to drink one beer at each bar. That really inspired us to do our own Golden Mile downtown Greenville. We want to do it once a year, and probably when it's maybe cool. Maybe
probably going to be like
probably
fall,
in October,
like
fall.
Late September.
Yes,
maybe early October.
So we're gonna. I'm working on mapping it out now. So if you guys have bars downtown that you really like, recommend them to us in the comment section. Maybe sort of like Ink and Ivy's and go like Jack and Diane's, City Tavern, Sharky's. Maybe work your way to like Trapdoor or
absolutely
Barley or Bailey's or Barley's, whichever one's right there over the Trapdoor. Yes.
The Charleston Sports Pub.
Maybe like Connolly's, which is a great beer joint. And so I'm working on mapping it out now, but we want to do this to where we start at noon, you Uber down, and then we do the Golden Mile together. Yes. The listeners and us go 12 bars, 12 beers together.
Yes.
If you need to get some food during the day, we'll do it. If you need to Uber out and you're fucked up, Uber out.
Yes,
get out of
absolutely. And the best part is we'll be downtown. There's going to be plenty of places to eat. It's going to be local for most of us that are listening. It's going to be a good time, man.
It's going to be great, man.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to do this on a Saturday, and this will be most likely we'll still get a podcast in. We'll probably podcast
late night
after.
Yeah.
We'll probably podcast after our Golden Mile.
Smashed after the Golden Mile.
And it's going to be a funny-ass podcast.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it. It's something that we're going to bring up from the podcast going forward because we're going to try to do it on like a Saturday in October. Right. It's really cool. We can watch some college football as we're going to each bar.
Yes, absolutely.
And
however, it might be a very annoying podcast because we
get annoying when we're drunk. Let's be
we're
honest.
annoying when we're not drunk. So,
But it's exciting, man. I really am excited to plan this and get this going. And if you, like I said, if you have some bars that you really like downtown Greenville, hit me up and we'll work on mapping it out.
We love to try out new places. So if there's places that we haven't tried out, then we want to map out places that are great for us. But this is also something we want the viewers to join in on.
For sure.
You ready to wrap this up, man?
Yeah, just a little bit.
What you got, man?
I got a little bit longer. How about my man Zach Wilson for the Jets?
Fuck, I forgot about that shit.
We got to touch on a little NFL.
I forgot
real quick.
about that shit, dude.
So Zach Wilson, if you don't know,
Stifler's mom.
2 years ago, Zach Wilson was a top 5 quarterback pick for the New York Jets, who had a kind of a shitty year last year. Expected. You're playing quarterback for the Jets.
That's pretty fair.
And it comes out that he had sexual relations with that woman. He had sexual relations with his mom's best friend.
Yeah, the strange part is he's dating a supermodel.
So what the?
And that's not the woman.
So what the fuck? I'm gonna be honest. When I look at Zach Wilson, I get he's from BYU, but he looks like he's from BYU.
Yeah, he looks like he's from BYU for sure.
He's such
a Mormon.
Yes.
No offense to the Mormons.
Shout out to the Mormons. There's so many Mormon people that I love, dearly love.
I don't know a single Mormon person.
Well, my day job back in the day was at
back in the day job.
my back in the day job was at a place owned by like a bishop of the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Wow.
So,
holy shit.
So Mormons just kind of like came through and turned over through that job. So I always kind of learned that a lot of Mormons are very misunderstood, and they're very close. The practice is very close to Christianity, but I'm not really
they're
here
good
to.
People.
They're just.
But
there's
speaking
a
of
lot
bishops,
of good people.
Speaking of bishops.
Okay, so I like to pride myself on being a very good chess player, but I haven't played in 8 years, and we all know that I turned 30.
7 years.
7 years, 8 years, whatever it was. Last time I played
2015.
Is that the last time?
I beat you then.
I beat you then too. On the
we
same,
were even.
We were
but
even.
Regardless, I beat you then.
Yeah, I beat you then too. And then from then it was 5 years before that. So I've only played chess twice in the past 12 years. So he buys me he gets here today with, what was the album?
Well, it was as everybody knows, he turned 30. We talked about it earlier. He's not in his 20s anymore.
Yes,
he's 30.
I'm an old
and
bastard.
so for his birthday, I got him a chessboard, which shout out to the Queen's Gambit for kind of reinvigorating that.
For sure.
That interest in chess. And then I also got him the Is This It? By The Strokes.
That's one of those albums that I was really surprised that no one's bought me.
Yes, it's an album that you needed for a long time. That's like one of your favorites.
I got to the point, there's some albums where I don't buy because it's so obvious that I love this album. I'll leave it up to other people for easy Christmas gifts.
For sure.
And Is This It? From The Strokes is such a raw album that I just love. And I haven't even here we go again. I haven't recommended my album yet.
Oh, wow.
And that's the album that I want to recommend. We'll get there, so hang on. But talking about
you might as well do it now.
The chess. No, I won't forget. The chess. It was a very, very close match. So
I disagree.
It was very, very close. All you had left was a rook and a queen.
I mean, regardless of pieces don't mean anything whenever you have pressure.
Yeah, but I mean,
we don't want to get into chess right now.
Yeah, but I was very comfortable up until maybe the last 3 moves. I would be honest. And for someone who hasn't played chess in 12 years versus someone who's been playing chess for the past 8 months.
The past 8 days.
Okay, you've been talking about it way before then.
Maybe like a month max.
Okay, so if you give me a month max to gather myself into chess, I think I would do very well. But anyways, that doesn't matter. But it was really fun to get back into that chess game, and to take a loss of something that I'm not used to in chess, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time.
It was really good. But getting back to the album that I want to recommend, and I haven't recommended a metal album yet. And the album that I'm going to recommend is Fortitude by Gojira. And this is for all the heavy listeners. If you're not new to
heavy,
I mean the people who listen to heavy metal.
Set people that listen.
So people who really love heavy metal,
just ignore me.
Yeah. I'm not even going to comment.
Heavy set people that are listening is what he's trying to say.
So the people who love heavy music, you probably already know about Fortitude by Gojira. Came out in 2001. Fucking phenomenal album. Very heavy. I mean, if you know Gojira, you already know that it's a great album.
Bass drum.
Dude, Mario Duplantier is amazing. One of the top 10 drummers, metal drummers of all time. Probably a top 20 drummer of all time. Just he's a murderer, and that's the first thing that grabs my attention when I listen to Gojira. Is
so good.
just insane drums, man. And from start to finish, I think it's a phenomenal album. And for those people who don't listen to heavy metal much,
right,
an album that I will recommend that might can get you into heavy metal, and it's one that I considered recommending last week, is Sempiterno by Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, I like that.
That's an album that I think it's very rare that I give an album a 10 out of 10. And I think that is a 10 out of 10 album.
Oh,
I think Ollie Sykes he's such a phenomenal songwriter.
That's a rookie score.
No, I don't think it is.
It's a rookie score.
No, it's not. It's a phenomenal album, man. And I think it's a straight 10 out of 10, especially for the genre, because so many bands, if you look in that genre, so many bands want to be the peak of Bring Me the Horizon,
right?
Which is Sempiternal.
That's fair.
So many bands try to mimic that, which they all missed. I'm not a big fan of that genre, but I will say this: that album is a fucking masterpiece.
I will say one band that really kind of holds that torch now, that Bring Me the Horizon has kind of went to that very poppy style, is the Architects.
I was about to stop you, and I was going to guess them.
The Architects is like it's a British band with the exact same like just growl that Ollie Sykes used to have.
And I've listened to some of Architects, and they don't do it for me like Sempiternal does it.
Yeah, I agree.
They're all they come the closest when it comes to mimicking that sound, but you really can't.
It's so good.
It's phenomenal.
The guitar, the drums.
And I'm going to be honest. After that album, it's very watered down, and then it gets worse.
That's pretty fair.
So if you're trying to get into heavy metal as someone who never really listened to it like that, I really wouldn't suggest listening to their newest stuff. I would start at Sempiternal and work my way back. You can honestly, start at the Spirit and work your way back, but after that, there's shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's how I feel about them. Some people may think different. That's okay.
That's the only album I might like. Sempiternal is the only album I'll go to by Bring Me the Horizon. That's about it.
There's a couple of them that I'll go to. I'll go to like Drown from.
I don't listen to it much.
I never go there. I mean, when I go to listen to heavy metal, I listen to heavy metal, man.
I listen to heavy metal, exactly.
I may
listen to Sempiternal.
I'm trying to get these people there. You can't start out listening to Gojira.
What do you mean by these people?
The people who haven't... The people who don't listen to heavy metal, that's the majority. The majority of people don't listen to heavy metal.
Sure, that's fair.
I think that Sempiternal is an amazing album to listen to if you can't get into heavy metal yet, but it is a bridge to heavy metal.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But it's been fun.
It's been a good episode, man.
It's been fun.
It's been good, yeah.
Yeah, you ready?
Every time I damn bump the table, I see fucking Rob Gronkowski going.
This is my dude right here, man. One of my favorites. But cheers, man. It's been a good podcast.
Cheers, man. It's been good. Hey, if you guys want to help us out, like and subscribe. Comment. If you got any questions, comment and ask us. If you want to tell us we're fucking stupid, because we know we are, but if you want to tell us why we're stupid, comment, man. Comment, like, subscribe. We love all the support you guys can give. I mean, we appreciate the views, subscribers, the likes. We appreciate everybody that's involved in the growth of the podcast.
For sure. And even if you're listening on Spotify, please just switch over to YouTube, like and subscribe. It really goes a long way. Really goes a long way.
Absolutely.
So thanks.
Yeah, man.
Excited. Thanks.
Yep. Cheers, brother.
See you guys.
Yep. See y'all.